It's never actually about the work and your career. It's how you want to feel while you are working. Hello, ladies. I am back, and today I have another live coaching episode for you. And I am talking to Kim about career transition. So Kim has actually been on the podcast previously. She's a client of mine. I would say a star student. This is a woman who came in and was determined to change her circumstance. And this is a natural progression. Oftentimes I find when people come in, they have one pain point. It might be an emotional need. It might be a relationship with their child. It might need, just unfulfilled inside. It might be their marriage. It might be a health, whatever that core need is. And when we start to do the work, we start to gain this momentum. And then when you start to gain momentum, you enter the next level of your life, or you start to pull back the layers of what they call the onion. And so Kim talks about it in our call, but she also said, when I first came in, career was not a pain point for me, but now I'm starting to see possibility and opportunity for growth. And I hear this a lot. And people say, I'm starting to think about what else is available to me because I'm creating freedom and alignment in other areas of my life. And I'm craving time freedom, or I'm craving connection, or I'm craving deeper work. And before you jump ship and decide to leave your job, which you can totally do if you're like, I need to get out of this soul-sucking job, or it is no longer aligned for me. But before you do that, if you are the type of person that's sitting on the fence, that's kind of like in indecision and going, am I going to stay? Am I going to go? Is this for me? Is it not for me? I want you to consider the following, that it is not necessarily the job that you want to leave. It is maybe how you are approaching the job or the position that is keeping you feeling stuck and dull. Oftentimes, I've been working with women for years, and many women would come in and say, I want to start a business. And I would ask, why do you want to start a business? I want time freedom. I want emotional freedom. I want financial freedom. Not realizing that it is work. It is intentional, emotionally uncomfortable work to create financial freedom. It is intentional, emotionally uncomfortable work to create time freedom. You have to have boundaries. You have to know how to manage your time and your energy. So oftentimes, once people started learning these skills, they stayed in their job and said, holy shit, I got promoted. I got a bonus. I've learned how to create boundaries around my time and my manager's expectations, or know how to lead my team better. And I'm happy and I'm content here. And I know how to get that emotional fulfillment in other areas of my life. They have become different. Their identity has shifted. Oftentimes some people have left corporate as well and have come back into corporate, a completely different person, negotiating who they want to be and what they want on their terms, and they got it. And so before you jump ship and you mentally tell yourself, I need to get out, I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I'm craving, and how can I give that to myself now? And while you are going after the feeling, and while you are figuring shit out, follow the breadcrumbs. So I want you to be able to hear how I walk Kim through this process today, and also some aha and awareness that she has had that was not there previously. So understanding that there is no quick fix and there is no one size fits all. Get clear on how you want to feel. And then ask yourself, what would that look like? This is a self-discovery process. And if we don't add our soul to the equation, we're jumping back in to more work that is not going to light us up. And that is called codependency. So let's pull back the curtains, dive into what do we want? How do we want to feel? And get clarity first before we decide to make big, bold moves. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Heather.
Welcome to live coaching. I always say the brave ones are the ones who raise their hand and say, of course you can record me for live coaching. So welcome.
And excuse me while I vomit on the side.
Exactly. And that's where the magic happens. Emotionally uncomfortable. That's what it's all about. So what is your question today? I know you're in mastery. You've been doing the inner work for a while. So maybe you can give a little background of that too, because I know I'm not going to say your pain points have shifted, but you've gotten a lot of clarity in one aspect of your life. And now we're moving on to another layer.
Yeah. So I came to you in mastery, really I was dealing with a lot of grief from my father's passing, which kind of triggered a lot of anger within me. And then, through my journey with you, I discovered that I had been living with anger for quite some time. It was triggered by the grief, but it's something I had been living with for quite some time. And through my time in mastery with you, I was really able to work through the grief, the anger. I was able to make some significant improvements with my relationship with my husband and with myself as well, because I have always been an individual who has lacked a lot of confidence. I've identified as someone who just doesn't have that confidence. And I can now say that I walk with my head held high now, and I do have more confidence. And I feel more like a woman than ever before. And that is thanks to mastery. So the reason I volunteered myself for your live coaching is I am facing my next level now. And that is my career. It's been kind of on my mind for quite some time. And it's an area that I resist significantly. So I went to school for business. I have a business background, but I never went into business for myself. I ended up finding a career in banking, and I've been in banking for about 18 years. So I worked my way through various roles, and I worked my way up the corporate ladder to what I do now. I'm now an officer within our compliance department. So it's like the nerdy kind of like law for banking is kind of what I call it. I'm certified in what I do. And for the longest time, I really, enjoyed what I did. And I felt that I had finally found my niche and what I wanted out of, with my career, out of my life. And I don't know if it's mastery that kind of got the question marks going a little bit for me, but I'm now kind of questioning what my future holds for me. I'm feeling stuck in what I do, and where there was once passion, the passion is not really there anymore. And so my question is, what potential do I have in my future? I've built this strong foundation for myself. Banking is all that I know. So if not this, then what? What are the possibilities for me? Yeah. And that's really where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Okay. So let's dive in. I love all of the things that you said, which is, especially when it comes to career, right? Mind you, the personal stuff, it's like, okay, that was manifesting through your relationships, and that was your pain point and focus. You're like, I have to focus here. I have to focus here because I don't want to, feel like a bad mom. But you did not know it was grief right away. You were just like, it was the disconnect in the relationships.
The disconnect and the anger was huge. Yep.
So when we're focused on one area, improving that, everything else just shifts and evolves. I tell people this all the time, like we're nature, right? So as you evolve and grow, so that anger, right? That grief was a gift. Once you started looking at it, the evolution of growth, and you're like, okay, I'm going to heal this. I'm going to grow. So it forced you, when people say, I want to become my best self, I don't really hear you say that, but like, you know, when people are like, what's my purpose? Or what's my next level? Or what, you know, I've got to become my best self. And we're trying to like put these little band-aids on everything. But the truth is we're natural beings and we have been brainwashed into a culture that's like, find your thing and stay there forever. And then when you evolve or change or grow, everything else evolves and changes and grows. So it's not even that you have to think of it as like a career transition, but there's something inside of you that's craving something else. Mm-hmm. Here we are, found my thing, right? How many times as a teenager or early 20s, you're taught like, find your thing, go after it. Mm-hmm. You go after it, you're like, I'm good. Well, you have evolved as a person. So when you feel stuck, I often say it's not that you're stuck. You're just like against a wall or you're at the door, right? And you have to open the door. But then what comes with feeling stuck? What comes with like, oh shit, this is scary.
Mm-hmm. It's a discomfort.
Mm-hmm. Unknown, uncertainty, right? And oftentimes when passion is gone, it's the same thing. It's either one, we're either burnt out because we've been pushed too hard. So that flame is gone, or we're just misaligned because we're like, this is a growth opportunity. So number one, I want us to think of this as like playful, excited, curious. Because I tell people all the time, you have to co-create. If you're trying to look for something like, what is it? You have to ask yourself first. So let's go inside. Let's do some inner work.
Okay.
So eyes closed. When you think of stuckness, where is that?
Like a combination between my chest and my gut. Like my gut, like I feel like the butterflies there, and my chest just feels heavy.
So what do you feel like the butterflies represent?
Nerves. I think it's that oh shit, what is this?
Mm-hmm. And what do you think the heaviness represents?
Resistance.
Mm-hmm. Which one do you want to talk to first, the heaviness or the nerves?
The heaviness.
Okay. So we're going to bring our energy and attention. So for those who cannot see or like, what are you doing? Just closing your eyes and just paying attention, right? We know when there are feelings, we just don't connect to them. We just brush them off. So you have to create the space with yourself, with your emotions, and you have to talk to them. And this is a practice. So when you're sitting with the heaviness, Kim, I know you've done this multiple times. So the first question we're going to ask, you don't need to say it out loud. Just inhaling and exhaling. And just asking it, heaviness, why are you here? What's the first response you get?
It's telling me it has a message for me.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's trying to get my attention.
Perfect. So now we're going to ask it, what do you need from me to feel safe to leave my body? Or what is that message? And let me know when you get that.
It needs my trust. That just a trust in myself.
Mm-hmm. So Kim, when you think of trust, I want you to think of like a color or a visual. What is that?
Blue. I get blue, like a blue cloud.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to visualize that just coming over your chest. And all we're doing is, your body's talking to you. and you're listening. And now it's getting into that, it's telling you what it needs, which is deep self-trust, which is safety. So visualizing that coming into your chest, because that's the area we're focused on. Just in your mind, if you need, just saying, I trust, and just letting go of any pressure or how-tos, just trust. Let me know what is happening to the energy of heaviness as trust comes in.
I can feel it slowly starting to lift. There is still some resistance there. I find it challenging to trust myself.
Mm-hmm. And no pressure on the resistance, just being like, hey, it's okay to hang around. You're allowed to be here. And then just going to that part of you, that resistance, and ask it, hey, is there anything else you need from me besides trust? Or just pay attention to the little breadcrumbs it gives you.
Love. That's what's coming up for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Do you need clarity on what that is, or do you know what that is for you?
Well, I feel like I need clarity.
So just taking another deep inhale and exhale and visualizing yourself waving a magic wand. You're like, I don't need to know the answer. It doesn't need to be perfect. If I did fully trust myself and love myself, what would be different?
I would feel so much lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd feel lighter and more at ease. I think I'd probably feel calmer as well.
Mm-hmm. So now let's ask this question. If I fully trusted myself and loved myself, and I felt calmer, lighter, what type of work would I be doing?
It's not clear to me, but something with books. I'm just getting a visual with books.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel with these books? What are you doing with them? Anything else?
It's not clear. It's not clear to me what I'm doing. But the more I try to tap into it, the more nervous I feel.
Ooh, that's good. Awesome. Okay, so now let's go to the nerves, the belly. And bringing your energy and attention there and just asking it, hey, why are you here?
It's also signifying that it's here as a sign.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
It's trying to get my attention.
And does it need anything from you to feel safe to leave?
It needs for me to surrender. So basically trust, I guess, the same thing, and just to surrender and stop resisting so much.
Okay. Is there anything else that your body needs you to hear today before we come out of this?
It just wants me to be open.
Okay. So when you're ready, just thanking your body and slowly opening your eyes. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next step. But before we do that, just for anyone who's like, okay, what does that mean? I want to be very clear. One, I think, yes, there's always a next level trust, but if you did this for the first time, most likely what typically happens is people go directly to their head and they're like, I don't know, because they don't trust themselves or they haven't practiced enough to listen to themselves. So oftentimes what happens culturally in general is we have pain or a stuckness or I hate my job or I don't know where the passion is. So we try to run away from it. And it's like, I need another job. So then we look for another job or we're like, I guess I'm just going to start a business or whatever that looks like, or I'm going to leave my job, whatever. We're seeking outside validation, right? So when you do this, it's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, there it is. You look in the first time and boom, there it is. But there's evidence and breadcrumbs. And this is like, everyone wants to know how to manifest, but like, this is aligned manifestation. You're like, books, what do books mean? Surrender, trust, resist, self-love. Like you've heard these things before. You're like, okay, now it's just a next level. So what do you know yourself better? What do you think where you're being guided regarding career and what you felt today?
I mean, I do nothing with books. So I think that's really interesting. I don't know. I think I need to journal on that and do some research. Just kind of open myself up to what are career opportunities out there that involve books.
There's a lot. It could be publishing. It could there's so much.
I'm curious and nervous.
So, yeah. But here's the interesting part. When you get to a place of surrender, like you've just got a little data marker, right? For those left brain seekers that love data, you just got a little data marker. You got a little breadcrumb. And now your brain is focused on books. What the fuck is this books? And you're going to take action. You're journaling on it. You're working on your energy because, that's what I teach is managing your energy. So you're working on your energy to be like, am I open? Am I trusting myself today? And the energy of you stepping into open and trust and surrender, you're going to watch what you're going to now see. I would not be surprised if you're sending me a message by the end of the week. You're like, holy shit, this is hilarious. Look what happened. Right? Rather than being so fixated on the how and what is it, because we're terrified of uncertainty. But the fact that you have this nervousness indicates growth. Like it's coming. Growth is coming. If you were completely numb and like the stuck, like it sounds like the stuckness is there, but it's like it just needed you to like pop it open. But some people are stuck and the walls are thick because they've sat there for way too long. And now hopelessness is starting to set in. And that is not a good place to be. Because then you're like, what's the fucking point? But when you're like, I feel stuck, but I'm like leaning against the stuckness. I'm paying attention to like, what is this? And the nerves are coming. You're like, ooh, magic is happening. I'm on the up and up. Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel that. I'm like nervous, but I'm excited also.
Yeah.
And probably for all the reasons that you just said, from what I've learned from you, that's exactly what it is it's like, I'm right there. So I'm excited to see what comes to me next.
So, okay. So that was all like the woo-woo energy stuff. Okay. Now let's go to this practical strategy. So the practical strategy is, yes, you're going to journal, you're moving, you're not just waiting for something to knock on your door, right? Like you're following those breadcrumbs, you're doing the daily habits, all of that. But let's talk about skills. So in your current job, and you don't have to talk about like specifically what you do, but in your current job, what is it that you love about it or what that you used to love about it?
So I do, there's a lot of investigative work that I do, suspicious activity monitoring in accounts. So like dollar movement of funds. So the investigative part of it, I really enjoyed. And then there was like a lot of reports that I would need to write, and I like the writing aspect of it.
So writing in books, no?
Yes.
Like, do you have any desire to write a book?
I've never given it any thought.
Okay. But here's the thing. You don't have to become an author. You can also support an industry in some capacity. You never know.
Okay.
So that's so interesting because, yeah, that's just interesting. Like when you have to write a book, you have to become a detective. Like you become obsessed with a topic, you do research on it. You have to like dig through it, come with your idea, and then transform your idea into like a practical strategy for other humans to understand.
That is interesting.
There's also people who support writers, like people who are like, I have this, like for me, I was like, I have this book inside of me. I just don't know what book it is. And then someone else had to like help me pull it out. So it doesn't always mean that you have to be the author. You can be supporting other people. Because I was like, I felt like I had this baby that wouldn't come out. That was my feeling. I was like, get it out of me. I was so annoyed with it. So then I had to find somebody who could help pull it out of me and organize it with me, because that wasn't my strength.
Okay. That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a whole world there to tap into.
Oh, yeah. And then, so from a practical perspective, it's like, what is this? What is this? You go out and you talk to people, right? You're like, what is this fucking books? What is this? Like, you just pay attention. You're open. You're seeing what's coming to you. And then you start talking to book people. Like you start collaborating with people and be like, okay, you work with authors or you work within this industry. How, like, this is what I love doing. How do you see me being planted here? Oh my gosh, we need this type of person or this type of person or that type of person. You follow the breadcrumbs.
Follow the breadcrumbs.
So I always tell people, you can be curious about change, but if you avoid change, that shit will blow up on you eventually. So it might be 5 years down the road where you're like, wow, I thought I healed all my anger, but now I'm becoming angry and resentful at work because I've stayed here too long. Mm-hmm. I'm misaligned. So when you are wildly proactive, so when you're in a state of thrival or momentum, right? You go up the little ladder, you're like, I get to do this from a place of like abundance and curiosity, and then just see where it naturally flows. You have like this smile on your face.
Because I was not expecting this from this call. I didn't know what to expect from, I knew you were going to crack me open though. I just knew it.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't expecting books to come out of it. And now I'm curious. I'm very curious.
Actually, you know what I just thought of? We used to have somebody in the community who owned a magazine. And I feel like that she just bought a magazine, took it over, whatever. But I'm like, you just never know where that conversation is going to go. Where you're like, I'm in this transition. I don't know what it is. This is my skill. How do you see that happening? Because when people are, there's nothing better when it's a natural progression. So we just brought somebody on the team who's been working with me for 3 years on tiny projects. And then the stars just aligned and it was like, now you got to quit your job and join me full time. And she was like, it was an easy yes for her. It was crap your pants a little bit. We got, we both got a little diarrhea, but it was easy. It was easy because it was like when you trust and follow those breadcrumbs, you're not doing this all or nothing thinking. Mm-hmm. And who knows, maybe what actually does unfold has nothing to do with what we talked about today, but it was a breadcrumb that led to something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. And the last thing I want to say is if you chose, even though I know you're not that type of person, what I was going to say is you have two choices here. You get to continuously lean into the breadcrumbs, follow them, or you get to say, I don't have time for this shit. My life is so busy. My life is so full. So I'm just going to compartmentalize, put this at the back of my mind and forget about it until I'm in so much pain and contrast that I have to now look at it. And I always tell people you have two choices. You get to stoke the fire or you avoid it until it comes back and you're like, shit, now I got to be reactive. So
I'm ready to look at it.
I know you are. I'm just telling the people that are listening. Thank you. Was this helpful?
It was very helpful. Thank you, Heather.
Are you ready to take back control of your time and energy? But the thought of where to start feels overwhelming. I created something for you. It's called the Energy Finder Quiz. Yep. This quiz takes less than 2 minutes and it helps you identify where to focus so you can conquer your dreams without feeling like you're failing as a mother. After coaching hundreds of women, helping them reverse engineer how they want to feel in their personal and professional lives, I started to notice 4 hidden skills that women must master in order to create the work-life balance that they crave. So head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/life quiz. heatherchauvin.com/life, LIFE quiz, QUIZ, and get started. I even give you specific podcast episodes to listen to based on your Energy Finder quiz results. The goal is to show you where to focus so you can regain your time and energy and become the woman you deeply know you are capable of becoming. heatherchauvin.com/life quiz.